Good morning. Scott Love with A to Z Insurance, your trusted choice independent agent. Today we want to talk about uninsured motorists and why this is such an essential coverage on your auto insurance policy. Well, what is uninsured motorist? Uninsured motorist is something that will reimburse you or a member of your family for medical and related expenses such as wheelchairs, uh, anything that's related as a result of a medical injury to you. It covers you, a family member, and it's when someone who's uninsured, underinsured, or a hit and run driver hits you. It covers you in these situations when they don't have adequate coverage or no coverage to cover your medical expenses. This is a very real situation as if we think about people that we've talked to, perhaps ourselves. It can even cover you as a pedestrian if someone hits you. Well, let me illustrate with an example. Let's say that you and your family of four are out and someone hits you. They're at fault. They get the ticket from the police. And we know under Florida law that the first $10,000 of your medical expenses are covered under PIP or personal injury protection. But let's say that the medical expenses to each of you exceeds $10,000. Well, if the other person has no bodily injury coverage at all, if they only have the state minimum PIP PD, personal injury protection, and the property damage covers that the state of Florida requires by law, who's going to pay for your medical expenses? And even if they have the 1020 bodily injury and your injuries exceed that amount, who's going to pay for that? Well, how many uninsured drivers are there in Florida? The Insurance Information Institute a few years ago did a study nationwide, and Florida came in as the fifth worst state for uninsured drivers. Approximately 24% of all drivers in Florida have no insurance. That's a stunning figure to think about. To think that when you're driving down the road, perhaps one out of every four around you has no insurance at all. Well, what about how many underinsured drivers are there in Florida? Consider these statistics. We have to include the 24% that we have started with have no insurance. You have 8% that only have the state minimum PIP PD, that is, therefore they have no bodily injury to pay you if they hurt you. You have another 28% that only carry the 1020 minimum bodily injury limits. And the Florida Highway Patrol says there's 75,000 hit and run accidents in Florida in 2013 with 17,000 injuries and many fatalities. And so if you add these numbers together, you've got approximately 60% of all the drivers in Florida are underinsured. They don't carry enough insurance to protect you. What's the point? You better protect yourself and carry uninsured motorists, because there's a lot of people riding around that don't have enough insurance to cover your medical expenses. And so if you're hurt for more than 1020 especially, you're probably out of luck. For many people, there's nothing to pay you with. Now, someone may say, and I admit it's a good response, they'll say, well, that's what my health insurance is for. That's why I don't carry uninsured motorists. Here's what we've been told by those who are the insurance gurus for the state of Florida that we rely on for advice. They said your health insurance wasn't designed for paying for auto injuries. There's limitations, deductibles, and exclusions that you need to consider. And so they recommend you get it in writing from your health provider that they'll cover auto injuries. Good luck with that, getting anything in writing from anyone. The safest thing for you to do is get as much uninsured motorist coverage as you can to protect you and your family. It may save you thousands. Thank you very much.